what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, we're working on the mid-engine 1967 Mustang Fastback, and we are working specifically on the doors. These are classic doors. They've seen better days. They've got rust through spots, some dents, some dings, and some bad paint. And I want to get fresh, clean, new metal on there. We're going to do that by reskinning the doors. This method of repair can be done on any classic car as long as you can find a door skin replacement, and it's very, very cheap. It's about 1/5 of the price of buying a new door. Stay tuned. Big thanks to eBay Motors for sponsoring this portion of this video. You guys know we love eBay Motors and we buy a ton of stuff for our builds on eBay Motors. It's because they have the right parts at the right price. It's pretty simple, but let me share some numbers for you. They have a massive range of inventory of over 122 million parts. That's so hard to imagine, but that's almost one part for every other person in America. They have over 5 million wheels and 7 million tires, along with all sorts of other great parts, and hard to find parts have been really great for us to find on eBay Motors. Hard to find unique niche parts that are discontinued or used and you want to get a great deal on them, eBay Motors is your place. And eBay Motors makes sure that you have a great experience when buying with 90-day returns, 12-month warranties, and fitment guaranteed when it's offered, and this might vary based on the seller. Another really cool thing they have is the My Garage feature, so you can save your vehicles in your profile, your vehicle year, make, model, and trim, and then when you go to search for parts, you can just filter parts that fit your vehicle. And you can have multiple vehicles in your garage, so if you're shopping for multiple vehicles like I do, it's easy peasy. So we're gonna be installing a lot of parts that we got on eBay Motors. I wanna take you through the process that I do when I'm buying something. So for instance, I thought, I need to repair these doors. So I jumped on eBay Motors, looked at the price for new doors, full replacement doors, and I thought those are a little bit spendy. So I was looking a different way, and I saw these door skins, and the door skins are very inexpensive, and I thought this would be a cool way to do it. So I bought those door skins, they got shipped here to my shop, unboxed them, checked them out, they looked really good. I watched some videos and figured out exactly how I'm supposed to install them. Then we go through the installation process of getting these skins onto the doors and then getting the doors back on the car. And that's what I'm gonna show you guys how to do in today's episode. And it looks absolutely amazing. That mixed in with our new headlight buckets and our new grille and trim and hood pins and all sorts of good stuff. It's just absolutely beautiful. So guys, go check out eBay Motors by using the link in the description below or go to ebaymotors.com. Huge thanks to eBay Motors for sponsoring that portion of this episode. Now let's get down to the work. First, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this door off, get it up onto a stand so I can start looking at how to remove this sheet metal. Now that I got the door off, I need to take these shiny bits off. Anything that's attached to the outer skin should probably go, so it's gonna be lock, handle, side mirror. I got the handle off and found a screw on the inside, so that was a little tricky, but I got the handle off, got the lock off, got the mirror off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and remove this outer skin. So the outer skin comes over here and it wraps around this, let's call this the inner skin or the shell skin, and it wraps around it. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna come in, my tool of choice here is gonna be a grinder, an angle grinder with the flap disc on it, and I'm basically gonna be just sanding through this outer edge until I see the other one underneath it. And I'm gonna do that all the way around the outer perimeter, and then this piece kind of tucks. So I'm gonna be sliding this part up after I get all this perimeter stuff off. That was super easy to remove using the method that I talked about, just flap disking it through, and you can see that I was cutting through the outer piece. That this is the door, this is all the removable stuff. I didn't damage the rest of the inner at all. So this is what it looks like. Very cool. We have a lot of access to the glass, so this is when I'm going to go ahead and swap out this glass. A lot of people commented that we have coupe glass. That is true, we had coupe glass, and a Fastback cannot use that glass because it has that rounded edge right there. So we're going to swap out our glass while we're in here. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and clean all this stuff up. Going to be using a wire wheel on a drill to get this rust knocked down as much as I can, maybe a little bit more flap disc. All the metal's still good, it's just got surface rust on it. Gonna knock that stuff off and then hit it with some rust reformer. we got the glass out. I should have put the rust reformer on after I got the glass out because I painted my hand quite a bit here. But this is covered in rust reformer now. It's looking really good. It did pretty good for its first 40 years of life. Now with the rust reformer on here, I can guarantee it's gonna make it another 40 years, no problem. So that was good. Getting the glass out, absolute pain. Not something I recommend doing if you don't have a lot of patience. That was not fun to do. But now it's time to get the Fastback glass in here, and then we'll start looking at our new door skin. New glass looks beautiful. All right, let's get our new sheet metal too. It's gonna look even better. Okay, we got our sheet metal test fit on here. So you can see the way that the sheet metal really attaches is it has this kind of rollover edge. So you put your sheet metal down here and then you roll the edge over the existing edge of the inner door panel. So it's just kind of like what we saw when we took the original one off, same thing. But we're gonna add a little bit more adhesive to the picture. We're gonna add a little bit more bonding. So we're gonna use a panel bonding adhesive. Any brand will work. We're gonna run it along all of these lines here, these points where the metal's touched, and then we're gonna run it across this center beam. I think the center beam touches the door panel as well. No, it doesn't. We're gonna skip the center beam. It doesn't touch the door panel. We'll put some sound deadening on that just in case if it does. And then we'll go ahead and throw our sheet metal on and start bending the edges over. All right, we've got the new skin on here and you can see the edges are ready to be rolled over. So we're gonna use a planishing hammer to just bend these edges over and hammer them tight, making that nice crimp fit and holding the panel down against the inner skin. You're not done hammering until your arms are sore, but the end result is worth it. Looks really, really good. Nice, straight, clean, new metal. So let's go ahead and get it bolted back into the car and see how it looks. Magnificent! Now we haven't adjusted our fender yet, so don't mind the fender gap, but everything else is really looking good. And the sheet metal, the brand new sheet metal looks fantastic. Also, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be really happy to see the Fastback glass in the Fastback body all looking straight. It's awesome how that turned out. All right guys, now that we're done with that, I gotta jump into some game plan changes for this build. It all kind of revolved around a drive that I took in the car a few days ago. The weather was nice, I took it out for a rip, and well, this happened to the wheels. The wheels started getting eaten away by our lower control arms, which means we have to upsize our wheels to at least a 19-inch wheel. It's unfortunate, we thought we pulled it off with the 18, but I don't want to have this car be something where every time I hit a pothole or a bump, I'm worried about gouging a hole through the backside of my wheel. So I knew we needed to upsize our wheels, and I was thinking about what to do with that, and I was just thinking about the future of this build and how I wanted to build it. After going on that drive, I realized like this build originally, I wanted to basically buy a race car chassis, which I did, put a Mustang body on it, and then have a Mustang race car. Car built for autocrossing, drag racing, fun thrash around thing, but I did want shiny paint. So I started kind of veering away from the race car build to try and go to shiny paint land, which I shouldn't have done. Now, it can have shiny paint, and race cars can have shiny paint and good bodywork, but I kind of lost track of the idea that we're still building a race car here, because it's really, really good at being a race car. It's not good as kind of just a chill, mess around, cruise, like take the girl out to dinner car. It's extremely loud. The engine behind you is very evident that it's right behind your head. It's loud, it's rowdy, it's twitchy, it's good for racing, it's not good for cruising. And honestly, with cars like that behind me, it's really a hard choice to choose to drive this to say go to the casino or something. So I need to get this build back on track to what I originally imagined it. Yes, shiny paint, but still a race car. And really most of the problems that we have right now with this build, the only problems that we have is all about wheel clearance. It's like scraping of wheels on different things, be it control arms or tires on body. That's like all the problems. Now I mentioned in the last Mustang episode that we're gonna get a set of clinched flares, and we got those flares. They look amazing. They're amazingly good quality, a company I highly recommend. But we put them on the car and I'm not getting enough clearance over the front wheel to be able to run those flares. So the offset of the wheels coming out of the car to clear the brake calipers is like too intense. So I thought, okay, well, I don't want to run the clinched flares and continue to have these clearance problems because that just makes for a really not fun time in a car. And then a viewer tagged me in this image right here. And it's funny because I'd seen this image before, I saved it, and I thought I'm gonna come back to this when I build my Mustang and I wanna build something very similar to this. And I completely forgot about it when we were thinking about wide body world. These images are just absolutely amazing and inspiring, and I love the look. The designer, I believe his name is Adhesive, sorry if I butchered your name, was actually already following me, so I followed him back, and like I said, I had this image saved on my phone for a long time, and I got to talking to him, and I said, hey man, can I build this out in real life? Is it okay? Can I have your permission to build your design out in real life? And he said, absolutely, it would be an honor, it'd be really cool. So this is the new direction of the Fastback. I think it does a lot of things. It makes it a more unique car that nobody will have seen in the world before. It would be a one of one. So it ticks that box for me. That's the type of vehicle that I like to build. Figures out all of our clearance issues while allowing me to run as wide as I always wanted to on this build. And if you guys remember before, I always said, I can't find a good way to make these front wheels be as wide as they need to be, but still like look good in the front. And his design absolutely does that. So yeah, we were really close to sending this thing to paint and being basically done with this build, but I want to kick it up a notch. I want to make this a build that will be a one of one in the entire world. I mean, it kind of already is, but oh well, let's make it even more unique, and then we're gonna send it to SEMA 2022. I've already got the booth figured out, and this car in that design, when we build that out in real life, it will be an absolute showstopper. It'll be the exact type of thing I love to bring to SEMA. I do want to try and have a prototype of the body ready though to test out at LS Fest East in Bowling Green, Kentucky, I think September 9th. That's a hopeful. We'd like to do it, but it's really far away, so shipping and transport can be expensive. So we're veering really hard off course here, and to do that, you guys are gonna have to give me a little bit of time. We need a new set of 3-piece wheels. I've had my eye on a set of wheels that I wanted to get custom made, but we didn't have time, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna get those wheels made specifically for this build, and they will then clear the control arms. We'll run a 19, so it's like the smallest wheel we can run, so we can have the meatiest tire possible. And there's also a handful of other things I wanna order, and then we'll jump right back into this thing, get the prototype body made, go race it, go make sure it works, and then we'll do the finished body work getting it ready for SEMA. So this build is gonna kind of now float into the background a little bit, but now that we have this awesome large shop, we can work on things in the background. Like for instance, we've built a race car over the last 2 weeks in the background. And then we'll show you guys larger chunks of progress on this build as they come out, but larger chunks of progress at a time. So we can work 2 weeks at a time and then show you guys all that at once, because I don't wanna keep doing small little things. Really, I need to be able to order a lot of stuff for this thing that takes a little bit of time because it's custom stuff, but it is so gonna be worth it. Last thing real quick while I have you guys here. The next few episodes are gonna be a little bit different. You guys remember when I came down with cancer? By the way, my health stuff is still going in the right track. That's the only update I have. I have very little information. I get scans every 3 months. So far, all my scans have been clean, but you just never know until one scan doesn't show up clean. But my medication is going great. I'm not having side effects. Everything's good as I could hope for right now. So if there's a problem, you guys will be the second to know. My mom would be the first to know. But yeah, just assume that no news is good news, right? I'm just still fighting that fight, still taking my medicine and getting through this and having a good time with life. And that jumps into the next thing is when I got cancer, I told you guys that I love building cars. I love BS for Build. This is, you know, my favorite thing to go do in the day, but there are a few things that I would take time off of BS for Build to do, and that is travel and hang out with friends. So we're about to do some of that. I've always wanted, since we assembled this awesome team of myself and Oscar and Kyle, to redo the original B is for Build road trip, where we bought a few salvage cars, fixed them up in 24 hours, tried to road trip them across America to New York and sell them on the other side and see if the price difference was cheaper than getting a rental car. Well, I'm very, very happy to say that that life goal is coming true, and in the next episode you will see we have 3 luxury SUVs that we bought in the $3,500 price range. They are ultra high miles. They are probably not going to make it across the country, but with our mechanical know-how, hopefully we'll make that happen. And we're gonna drive across the country. When we get there, our race car, our Lemons race car, will be waiting for us to go race against Chris Fix in the 24 hours of Lemons. So the next few episodes are gonna be building up these super high mileage SUVs, getting them across the country, building a race car, getting that across the country, and then racing Chris Fix. Bunch of really, really fun life stuff that I want to do that I need to take time off the builds to do it because I don't want to have any regrets in this life, and this is going to be a lot of fun. And I think you guys are going to have a fun time watching it. This race car is already amazing. Crazy that it's only $500 and I like it so much. Oscar just said it's only been on fire twice. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. I'm sorry the Mustang's gonna go on pause for a little bit, but we've got some amazing opportunities to do some really fun stuff and beat Team Chris Fix in a very not serious race. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!